So today we're going to be looking at why these particular set of women are the most dangerous female gang leaders. You know, what about them deserve life in prison? And when they were running the streets, what did they do? But without further ado, let's get into it, all right?
Sandra Avila Beltrán.
Corrupción. Pero no es nomás con el narcotráfico, hay mucha corrupción en cualquier ámbito social.
Sandra is dubbed the Queen of the Pacific by the media and is a member of a Mexican drug cartel. Her criminal career is interesting because of her family connections, which have played a significant role in her career. Her family has ties to Rafael Caro Quintero, a former Guadalajara cartel leader. She's also related to the Beltran Leyva brothers,
So she
who
was
were
born
top
into this
leaders of the
life.
Sinaloa cartel. According to Mexican officials, Avila Beltran is the niece of Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, the godfather.
Low-key, she was kind of set up from the beginning to live that type of life. I mean, look at the people that she was, cousins with and related to. Kind of already predestined.
And boss of the Mexican drug trade. Her mother's family became involved in heroin smuggling in the 1970s and later expanded into cocaine. DEA officials claimed that Avila Beltran never shied away from using the violence that comes with the territory, and that she used the typical intimidation tactics of Mexican organizations. In her youth, she had affairs with several well-known drug barons and was married twice. Her husbands were ex-police officers who became drug traffickers and were later assassinated. Her relationship with Juan Diego.
How y'all police officers ain't do no background check? Come on now. You mean to tell me she ain't mention no other man? They ain't make you want to say, hey, let me find out some things about her. Come on now.
Espinosa Ramirez, alias the Tiger, who is said to be an important figure in Colombia's Norte del Valle cartel, is credited with her rise to power in the drug world. She lived in Guadalajara, Jalisco, and Hermosillo, Sonora until 2001, when police discovered more than 9 tons of cocaine on a ship in the Pacific port of Manzanillo, Colima, and traced the shipment to her and her lover, Espinosa Ramirez. Despite her high-profile lifestyle, Beltran has long avoided leaving any evidence for police to find.
She always got a
However,
grin.
when her teenage son was kidnapped for a $5 million ransom in 2002, she unexpectedly contacted authorities for assistance. She eventually got her son back, but not before raising red flags that prompted an investigation. It took over 4 years and 30 federal agents to finally apprehend Avila. She was charged with organized crime and drug trafficking conspiracy, but some charges were later dropped. She was detained on suspicion of illegal weapons.
I chose ECPI University because I wanted to get my degree fast.
0 to bachelor's,
Hey, live
2.5.
reaction.
Weapon possession and money laundering, pending extradition to the United States. On August 10th, 2012, she was finally extradited to the United States to face criminal charges. Next, we take you to Naples, where Maria Licciardi dominated the Camorra gang. Maria grew up in Secondigliano, a Neapolitan suburb, in the stronghold of the Licciardi clan, one of Naples' most powerful Camorra clans. Her entire family was involved in the Camorra, with her father, a well-known local boss, and her brothers rising through the ranks. Her husband was also a member of the Camorra, so crime was in her blood.
Wow.
Maria rose to the top of the criminal world and became one of Camorra's most powerful bosses. After her brothers and husband were arrested, Maria became the first female boss of the Secondigliano Alliance, a coalition of powerful Camorra gangs that controlled drug trafficking and extortion rackets in many Naples suburbs. She was a trailblazer, and the alliance grew more organized, secretive, sophisticated, and powerful under her direction. Maria brought many revolutionary changes to the clan, such as prostitution, which was previously prohibited under Camorra's code of conduct. This enhanced criminal activity and the clan's income. However, it also meant that many underage girls were enslaved and forced into prostitution,
That's sad.
often while on drugs. However, Maria's reign ended when a disagreement arose over a shipment of pure, unrefined heroin. She refused to sell it because it was too powerful for the average user and would harm the alliance's customer base. The Lorusso clan, who had always opposed her leadership, disagreed and packaged the shipment for street sale, resulting in the deaths of many drug addicts throughout Naples. This sparked widespread public outrage, leading to massive police crackdowns on the Camorra clans. Maria was arrested and jailed. Prisons do not impede the Camorra, and she still commanded the clan from behind bars.
What's so crazy about all of this, really, is that, so from what I get from this particular woman right here, is that if they would have just went with what she originally said, which was keep that type of product off the street because aka too strong, she would probably still be walking now. Like, granted, they may have eventually caught her, but she might have been still walking out. Who knows? That's crazy.
She was released in 2009 after nearly 8 years. In 2019, she escaped a massive anti-Camorra operation against the Secondigliano alliance. 71-year-old Maria was arrested in 2021 for being the leader of the Camorra gang while trying to board a flight to Spain. She was sentenced to 12 years and 8 months in jail. Just like Maria, we have Judith Moran. This is Judith Marianne Moran. Moran was from the notorious Australian Moran criminal family and had a life story that reads like a gangster movie script. This woman was born December 18, 1944, and participated in the notorious Melbourne gangland killings. Judy's first marriage was in 1963 to Leslie John "Johnny" Cole. Johnny was tragically killed in a drug-related gangland conflict in Sydney in 1982. Mark Cole, their son, born in 1964, later changed his name to Mark Moran. Judy began dating Louis Moran in 1966, and they had a son named Jason Moran in 1967. Their relationship, however, did not last, and they divorced in 1995. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and things heat up even more. Mark Moran was assassinated in 2000, and Jason Moran was assassinated in 2003. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, Louis Moran was murdered in 2004. However,
don't tell me she killed her kids.
Des Moran, Judy's brother-in-law, was murdered in Ascot Vale in June 2009. Judy and 3 others were later arrested in connection with his murder. Judy was accused of concealing the getaway car in her garage and disposing of it. To top it all off, when police searched Judy's home, they allegedly discovered a hidden safe containing 3 handguns, 2 stolen Victorian license plates, a wig, and clothing that matched the description of the shooters given by witnesses.
Another handgun with seems to be a knife aiming device on that.
Judy Moran was denied bail because her possession of weapons posed a risk to the community. She was found guilty of murdering Desmond Moran by a jury in 2011, and she was sentenced to 26 years in prison, with a minimum of 21. Another notorious female gang leader that served time in prison was Rosetta Cutolo. This is Rosetta Cutolo. Cutolo was the mastermind behind...
Oh yeah, I gotta give props on this dude. Y'all follow Courtroom Consequences. These are his videos, and I'm doing a reaction to it. But man, his like editing style and like how the voiceover and everything is, it's crazy. Like, I'm trying to get to that level.
Behind one of Italy's most notorious organized crime syndicates. Rosetta was the sister of Raffaele Cutolo, the boss of the Nuova Camorra Organizzata, or NCO. Her brother was a megalomaniacal man who spent most of his time in prison. That didn't stop him from carrying on with his criminal enterprise. Rosetta stepped in to help. She was the one who carried...
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees?
...out his orders from behind bars and nurtured his devoted followers outside. According to a resident of Ottaviano, where Rosetta lived with her mother, the NCO would have collapsed without her. Rosetta was a brilliant negotiator who dealt with cocaine barons in South America. She even attended a high-level meeting with representatives of the Sicilian Mafia and Camorra clans to try to end the bloody war between the NCO and their Nuova Famiglia rivals. Despite her position in the organization, Rosetta maintained a low profile. She led a simple life, tending to her roses and avoiding the spotlight.
She did just
contrast to her brother, who enjoyed giving interviews and making speeches in court. Rosetta ruled from the NCO's headquarters, the Castle Mericeo, a sprawling 16th century palace with 365 rooms and a sprawling park with tennis courts and a swimming pool. The castle provided Cutolo with direct access to the prisons of Poggioreale and Ascoli Piceno. However, police raided her stronghold in October 1981 While she was presiding over an NCO meeting, Butolo escaped undercover in a car driven by the neighborhood priest. Rosetta was not seen in public for over a decade after that and directed operations from a series of safe houses in various cities. She surrendered in February 1993 after police discovered her hideout. She was sentenced to 9 years on charges of mafia affiliation, but the sentence was later reduced to 5 years. She was, however, acquitted of 9 murder charges. Rosetta had convinced the authorities that she was harmless, and her frumpy appearance helped. Rosetta might have convinced the authorities, but that wasn't the case for Maria Leon. This is Maria Chata Leon. Chata is the boss of a whole criminal underworld. We're talking drugs, murder, the works. She has 13 children. 13.
Damn.
Unfortunately, one of her children, Danny Clever Leon, was killed in a shootout with police in 2008, and she wanted to attend his funeral in the United States. The only problem is that she is stuck in Mexicali, which is on the Mexican side of the border. Having served some time in U.S. prison, she is banned from re-entering the country. So what does Maria do? She contacts a human smuggler, Alvarez Marquez, and requests his assistance crossing the border. And boy, does he deliver. The guy has previously brought some unusual items across the border, including a 3-month-old.
I'm gonna just say this, a mother's love, man. A mother's love. Like, you are the drug lord, well, the boss of a pretty much a underground organization. Your son dies in America, but you're banned from coming back to America, so you hire somebody to smuggle you in to attend his funeral. Hey, I don't agree with her actions, but hey, at least she loved her kids.
Old baby and a truck of Chinese workers hidden in a freezer truck. However, getting Maria across the border is a special job, and it will not be easy. Because her options are limited, Alvarez Marquez suggests that they assist her in jumping the border fence. She also suggested swimming beneath the fence through the highly polluted New River, which flows north from Mexicali to Calexico, California. Doesn't that sound intense? But things get even crazier. While Alvarez Marquez is on the phone with Maria's son, Francisco Real, he's unaware that the feds are listening in. They're looking into Francisco, who they believe is a top dog in the Drew Street gang, which is linked to Maria's criminal empire. From listening in, the feds learned about Alvarez Marquez's plan to smuggle Maria across the border. They followed up on the tip and eventually arrested him on conspiracy to smuggle, transport, and harbor illegal aliens. They also arrested up to 25 other gang members and illegal aliens. Maria Leon was sentenced to 8 years in prison.
That's crazy. You got what's so crazy, and a lot of these women, when you look at them too, you would have never known they were like the boss of like a criminal organization. A lot of them didn't even look like they were bad people. But man, when they started talking about what they did behind closed doors, like, man, it truly opens your eyes. But that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. You guys like, comment, and subscribe. And again, I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you guys for subscribing. And hey, it's only up from here. Have a good one. All right.